Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lucifer Within Us. I keep wanting to say Lucifer Among Us because, you know, the game Among Us is pretty popular right now, but it's Lucifer Within Us, unless I'm completely wrong. So last time we had a lot of success in verifying a bunch of these statements. We don't know where Augustine was during this time. He says he was taking his seat. He says he was singing the hymn, but we're not exactly sure of that, and we don't know what Virgil was doing during this time either. Also, when Augustine says he was staying calm here, we're not really sure. So can I listen to your statement again, Augustine? I guess I have to actually click on you. What's the problem with playing these like 24 hours after I did the last? I can't remember all the things that was going on. So can I ask you about yourself though? I'm a scholar of ethereal matters, as you might recall, relics and the like. Did I ask you about were you the one that was prideful? Augustine remains strangely confident that everything will go as he planned, with smug air. Is that what you see deep within me? Interesting. I suppose it's difficult to remain humble when I feel everything that happens is so predictable. Okay, so you think you know everything, huh? Is that the case? Think you know everything? Tell me about Abbot Gregory. Tell me how you feel about Abbot Gregory. A great loss to our community. This mass was the abbot's dream for many years. What do you think about Virgil? Inquisitor Virgil strikes me as someone who is so devout, I can't even discuss my research with him. A pity. So your research is not really up to, like, the teachings of the church? Is it a little different? Is that why his devoutness would seem wrong? But anyway, so go ahead and take me through your story.
The abbot, Virgil, and I arrived at the chapel just before the mass.
Okay, and then you went to take your seat.
Inquisitor, prepare.
As you command. When I headed to my seat for the mass to begin, I was rather excited for the proceedings.
So you say you were taking your seat here. You said you were just sitting here for this whole time. Gideon says, I checked the ritual bell. As I was doing this, I saw Inquisitor Virgil gazing at the altar. Okay, so that doesn't say anything about you seeing Augustine or anything related to that. You returned to the organ, and that's it. Of course, you didn't say anything about Augustine. Virgil, you secure the east balcony. And then I listened in on the abbot and Augustine. I think they were discussing the ritual communion. So you did see Augustine during that time. You weren't just sitting there. All right, I would like to contradict you, please. Lies unmasked. Lies. Virgil saw you speaking to the abbot. What were you discussing? He saw us? Very well. Abbot Gregory and I did speak by the altar, it's true. We were discussing the ritual of communion. We wanted everything to be perfect. Okay, what did I learn about you now, sir? Evidence discovered, ritual of communion. What is the ritual of communion? Through his research on daemons, Augustine was able to discover a way to reach out into the aether and commune with the spirits therein. Abbot Gregory and I were trying to achieve communion, a state in which Ein Sof can speak directly to our hearts. Ein Sof wasn't always so silent, you know. Everyone would hear his voice, and it was no metaphor. But since daemons were sealed away by Saint Walpurga, Ein Sof has also become silent. Hmm. That's some interesting theology right there. I wanted to say dogma, but I don't really understand. I don't know the good definition of that word, and it has a bit of a negative connotation that I perhaps don't want to give in this instance, but without understanding the word better. But you believe, it's almost like you believe that sealing the daemons away could have been a bad thing. Because somehow sealing the daemons also sealed communion with your God. And are you willing to bring back the daemons? Like, do you think that's a fair trade-off? You want to bring back daemons so you can communicate with your God? Even if that might cause problems, you know, because of what the daemons do? The church pretends they can hear what the layfolk can't, but what if we could all hear Ein Sof again? That's like you don't believe the church. The boundary between the physical and ethereal realms are the thinnest at this abbey, where Walpurga sealed it. That doesn't seem to make sense. Like, if you seal something, shouldn't that be the strongest part, not the thinnest? On Walpurgisnacht, it becomes thinner still, a cyclical resonance every 111 years. By having the faithful sing in unison, we hope to break Walpurga's seal and witness Ein Sof once more. But if you wanted that to happen, why would you kill the abbot? Unless he said no, unless he did something to kind of prevent the communion from happening and you were seeking vengeance. Because killing if the communion happened, that's what you want. You wouldn't kill him unless he was trying to stop you. But let's play your story.
The abbot, Virgil, and I arrived at the chapel just before the Mass.
Inquisitor, prepare.
As you command.
At the altar, the abbot and I discussed the ritual significance of the Mass tonight.
Okay, and then you... Well, I need to ask you about this, because this is different. Tell me more about your discussion. Despite his bravado, the abbot was shaken by your warnings. Just as the Mass was about to start, he became fearful and asked me whether we ought to stop and send the pilgrims home. So I reminded the abbot why we chose this path. The true voice of Ein Sof awaited us in the Aether. And he believed you? Of course, because it's true. The ritual of communion will allow us to hear it, as our ancestors once did. I admit that we knew perhaps a possession could also occur, but we deemed it an acceptable risk, okay? So you were willing to accept the coming of daemons. It would be a worthy price to pay in order to restore our connection to Ein Sof. My words gave him heart. His sermon was more brilliant than ever. Of course, we didn't expect his own life to be the price. And now the ritual is incomplete anyhow. What a waste. Alright, and then you said you take your seat.
When I headed to my seat for the Mass to begin, I was rather excited for the proceedings.
Let me ask you about that. Tell me, what were you excited for? Tonight was the culmination of all my labors. All my scholarship pointed towards this moment. The spear, the statue, and the hymn, all gathered in one place. At last, the ritual of communion could be performed. Of course I was excited. Well, let's think about this. So we know your whereabouts for most of the time, right? We know you were ringing the bell. And we know that when you rang the bell, when you were ringing the bell, Gideon was already knocked unconscious. So I don't believe you can be the perpetrator. even if you are kind of creepy. Because you can't ring the bell and knock out Gideon at the same time. So, I think that only leaves Virgil to be the suspect. Because Virgil has all this time unaccounted for. That he could go over, knock out Gideon, mess up the west generator, then go to the east generator. Oh, no, you didn't have to go to the east generator because you had your device on a timer. So you could do both at the same time. But let's take a look. So you said you were going to sing the hymn of communion. I was suspicious of Augustine, but I continued my duties by controlling. Where was Virgil this time? He was patrolling the south balcony. Can I jump to Virgil?
I was suspicious of Augustine, but I continued my duties by continuing my patrol.
Can I see Augustine down here? I think I saw him right there. I think I saw him for a second. So I think he is there. Turn your face. Turn this way. Turn again. Turn again! He didn't turn. I think I saw him for a brief second, so I believe he's there. I think that's fine. I can't corroborate that you were singing the hymn or taking your seat, but I think that's okay. Let me check Gideon.
I went up the balcony, but I listened in on...
I knew Mass was about to begin, so I headed back to the organ.
No, you overlap because you're looking the wrong way, so you don't see Virgil or Augustine. You never could see Augustine. Okay, so I think this time that Augustine, that's a red herring. That's not important. I think it's definitely Virgil that's the problem. So Gideon.
After the opening hymn, I listened to Abbot Gregory's sermon. It was a pretty good one.
Do you ever see... I guess we can't... I actually can zoom out a slight bit. I can't pan the screen or anything, but I can zoom in and out. So I never saw Virgil.
Praying together to eyes.
And then you get popped over the head.
When the ritual of communion began, someone attacked me from behind. I fell unconscious until just now.
The bell was ringing, so it definitely couldn't have been Augustine, so it had to be Virgil. I mean... Virgil, I'm gonna...
After the opening...
I don't
Everything
have...
appeared to be in order, so I ended my patrol and watched over the chapel from the south balcony.
Don't have all the info here. So, let's see. I rang the bell to announce the start of communion. I noticed Gideon was absent from the other balcony, but I didn't think much of it at the time. I rang the bell a second time. Suddenly the lights went out and the chapel was covered in darkness. I stood calmly by the bell, waiting for someone to fix the problem. You never say anything about Virgil. I suspected foul play, so I headed towards the west generator. Along the way, I discovered Gideon lying unconscious. And then you ran towards the east balcony. You heard the explosion, so... Yeah, I'm gonna accuse you, Virgil. Okay, so I gotta provide 2 opportunities and 2 means. So, opportunity 1. If I'm the culprit, when could I have damaged the west generator? The western generator over here. Here. You did it here when, Well, right about here when the lights go out is when you did it. Lights went out because someone sabotaged the west generator. The culprit's opportunity would have been before this moment, not after. The culprit somehow damaged both generators without being seen. If I'm the culprit, when could I have damaged the last generator? Okay, when you said you were watching over the chapel. It was when you claimed to have been watching over the chapel. In truth, you were destroying the west generator. No one heard the explosion, thanks to the ringing of the ritual bell. What about Gideon? He would have seen me if I passed by him. No, you knocked him unconscious. True, however, Gideon claims that he was attacked from behind and was lying unconscious throughout this time. This gave you ample opportunity to damage the west generator. This is absurd, but for the sake of argument, let's say I did those things. Hypothetically, if I was the one that damaged the west generator, when could I have sabotaged the east generator without being seen? That was when the lights go out. Lights went out because someone damaged the west generator, blah, 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 blah. Okay. When could I have damaged the east generator? At the same time? Well, it's had to be right before, the statue drops. So when you said you were... Here, when you said you found Gideon, Augustine was already at the east balcony at this time. Couldn't have approached the east generator without passing him. This is absurd, but for the sake of argument, let's say I did those things. Hypothetically, I was the one that damaged the west generator. How could I have sabotaged the east generator without being seen? Okay, present a statement from the suspect's testimony. Establish the opportunity. You did it when the lights gone out. I mean, we've clicked on here, we've clicked on here. It's when the lights went out. The lights went out because someone's having the west generator. When could I have damaged the east generator without being seen? You know what, you jerk? I've clicked all the things, right? Have I clicked all the things? Sure, nonsense. Surely someone would have seen me cross the balcony. There you go. This is absurd. Okay, so never mind. That wasn't it. I'm just gonna click them things. Lights went out because someone... Blah, blah, blah. Okay, you did it when you said... It's the same time. You did it at the exact same time. Augustine would have been getting ready to ring the bell at this time. I could not have approached the east generator without passing him. I could not have approached the east generator or returned to the south balcony without him seeing me. This is absurd. So... None of that works. Unless I say it's when the statue dropped. Oh. So that's not the time. So I'm thinking about the time that the east generator blew up. But you actually sabotaged it earlier, didn't you? You sabotaged it earlier by leaving your weapon behind. It's when you patrolled the east balcony. You were near the east generator earlier while patrolling the east balcony, of course. This gave you the opportunity to place something on the generator. As he did it remotely, that's correct. Alright, means. If I'm the culprit, then what could I have used to damage the generators? Well, you couldn't have taken the hammer, because we know that Augustine was using the hammer. So I believe you used your arm, your Inquisitor arm. Cybernetic arm used by Inquisitors can emit bursts of etheric energy. Your arm was the only aether-powered device that could have damaged the generators, not to mention knock Gideon unconscious. I will grant that my arm could have been used to attack Gideon and damage the west generator. However, the east generator blew up before I could cross the balcony. If I am the culprit, how did I destroy the east generator without being near it? Well, with another arm that exploded. I concede that this arm could have been used to damage the generators, but that does not explain how I could have damaged the two generators in quick succession. I will grant that my arm could have been used to attack Gideon and damage the west generators. However, the east generator blew up before I could cross the balcony. How did I destroy the generator? That was... Well, if you want me to talk about that, that's the remote operation. Inquisitor arms have a special design allowing for remote activation. Earlier in the night, you detached your right arm and placed it on the east generator. Thanks to your cape, no one noticed your missing arm. You do have a cape on that side. After you attacked Gideon and damaged the west generator, with your remaining right arm, his right arm is the one that has the cape on it, actually. You activated your left arm to damage the east generator. Okay, well, the motive is the only thing left. I am sworn to serve Einsoft. Why would I betray my faith? Why would I harm the abbot? I need to present psychological evidence. Pride, fear, shattered confidence, wrath, ritual communication. I don't remember which one is him. Wrath. Virgil has a strong innate sense of justice, urging him to act and punish the guilty, revoked even more by today's events. Yeah, so that was him. That's Augustine. That's Gideon. That's Gideon. That's Augustine. So the only thing I know about him is his wrath. You killed Abbot Gregory because your faith has been twisted into wrath. When you discovered that Abbot Gregory and Augustine might have caused the demonic possessions because they were trying to break the seal, basically, you decided to become the fist of Einsof and take matters into your own hands. To avenge the souls of the victims and to protect the lives of the innocent. Well, everything's lit up, so... And he's the only one it could be. Because again, Augustine couldn't do it, because he was ringing the bell at the time. Gideon couldn't do it, because... literally, Augustine can see over there that he wasn't there, so we believe he was knocked unconscious. It has to be you, Virgil.
Virgil, you are the only one that could have killed the abbot. It wounds me that you have been corrupted so. I trusted you. And yet, when I examine the facts, it is the unavoidable truth.
Perhaps I am a sinner, but the abbot was too, long before I gained my office.
Sounds like you're confessing.
Father Gregory was well deserving of death. Try as I might, I can't regret what I did.
Alright, you're admitting it. You're admitting it, then.
And you, Augustine. You too deserve divine punishment for the part you played. You and the abbot risked the lives of everyone for your dangerous ritual. I may have killed one sinner, but in doing so, I saved the lives of many innocents and executed the will of Ein Sof.
I'm not convinced.
You wish to hear the truth? Listen well.
Alright, tell me. Let's play.
We arrived shortly before the mass began.
The abbot ordered me to patrol the balcony. I had to come up with a plan quickly.
Inquisitor, prepare.
As you command. I suspected that Augustine was up to no good, so I planned to eavesdrop on him and the abbot while patrolling. I was sickened by what I heard. They knew that the mass would weaken St. Walpurga's seal and cause demon. That's when I saw a way to take care of both the abbot and Augustine.
Hold on,
First,
go back.
I attached my right arm to the east generator.
This is too small. Like, the time frame is too small. The audio gets cut off.
I was sickened by what I heard. They knew that the mass would weaken St. Walpurga's seal and cause demonic possessions.
Okay.
That's when I saw a way to take care of both the abbot and Augustine. First, I attached my right arm to the east generator. Then, I pretended to resume my patrol. Through remote activation, I could damage the generator from far away.
And then you just figure out how to get another arm later. Oh, I see. I didn't notice here. He indeed has a missing right arm. I didn't even look at that.
I waited near the organ for the sermon to end and approached Gideon from behind.
Praying together to Ein's.
When Augustine rang the bell, I attacked Gideon with my remaining arm. No one heard the impact because of the bell.
That's good timing. I'll give you that.
When Augustine rang the bell a second time, I used my remaining arm to disable the west power generator. The lights went out, which gave me cover to escape. Before the guards could find me, I ran to the south balcony.
At some point, you blew up your arm. Your other arm.
Virgil, what is going on? Makes sense.
And now everything was in place. I remotely activated the arm, which destroyed the remaining generator. The statue fell. Abbot Gregory was killed, and Augustine was the only one standing near the generator. All that remained was to arrest that snake Augustine. Everything went to plan, and thousands of lives were saved. I have no regrets.
Okay, Virgil. I guess we need to call the name of your daemon.
Even Inquisitor Virgil has fallen prey to the tempting whispers of the daemons. I must speak the daemon's true name. Then the daemon will be cast out and be banished to the ether. Ain Suf, guide me to the truth. What daemon has possessed Virgil?
Lucifer the Proud, manifest in the ambitious and the strong-willed, promising them their heart's desire in exchange for their soul. Didn't do that. Beelzebub we've already done. Lotan we've already done. Sathanas the Vengeful, a furious daemon that stokes the shimmering rage within the host. We already said he was wrathful. Preys upon the fervent and the righteous, goading them to take matters into their own hands. That's it. It's Sathanas the Vengeful.
Out, Sathanas! Leave this soul and return whence you came!
I'm sorry, it was Sathanas, not Sathanas? Sathanas. That's a nice set of teeth you got there, boy.
Do you feel the resonance, exorcist? The most righteous, stalwart servant of the church, corrupted by his own zeal. Beautiful. One might wonder how it is the faithful worship of even Ein Sof can cause murder.
Silence! Ain Suf will purify Virgil's soul, Sathanas.
It's just so weird that, again, they sometimes say daemon, sometimes say demon, sometimes say Einsoft, sometimes say Ainsoft. It just seemed like maybe there was not a good amount of direction in the voice acting. There wasn't somebody correcting these actors, and they do fine jobs. I like their work, but there's just some inconsistencies.
You are a scourge. Your very nature corrupts men's souls, even one so strong as Virgil. Let humans be free of vengeance, Sathanas. I banish you to the aether!
Hate me. Let your blood boil. Anger suits you, exorcist. Besides, we've already won.
Have you?
Pray to your Ein Sof as much as you like. It will all come to the same in the end.
Well,
Speak to
Sathanas
me,
is
Virgil.
gone.
Are you safe?
Sister Ada, thank you. I wasn't sure I could be cleansed. Not after such sins.
I mean, you're still guilty though, so I mean, I feel like you still gotta go to jail. I don't know. How how does justice in this world work, right? So we know, I mean, Virgil did the act. He literally killed the abbot. However, in this universe, we have proof that Virgil was in fact being manipulated by a demon or a daemon. So, can we hold Virgil accountable for the things that was done at the time he was being manipulated? Do we say, like, well, he should have been stronger, or he invited the daemon, or like it's still his fault because he physically did the act? Or do we give him a pass and say, well, yeah, you did it. It was physically you. It was your hand that did it. However, someone else was guiding your hand. You didn't have the free will. You know, you didn't intend to do these things. Someone else forced you to do these things against your own, you know, better judgment. So, I don't know how that world works. I don't know how you seek judgment on that. That's an interesting case. Especially because, like, it's not just the idea of, hey, there was a demon controlling me, a daemon controlling me. We have proof. We could see and speak to the daemon. We know it existed. I wasn't sure I could be cleansed, not after such sins.
I can't look at myself. I failed Ein Sof. I failed my vows. And myself. It's up to you now. Avenge me. Avenge all those who suffered today. Bring Augustine to justice.
Bring Augustine to justice? Why do I bring Augustine to justice? Augustine didn't do this unless Augustine gave you the demon.
Glory to Ein Sof.
Augustine?
You are victorious, sister. Yet you are not rejoicing. Does nothing make you happy?
Augustine, this is all you're doing.
I mean, is it though? Do we have proof of that?
But I have hardly done anything. Consider these poor sinners that you've exorcised today. A craftsman whose jealousy of his brother drove him to dangerous sabotage. An embalmer whose cannibal hunger was stoked by fresh meat. An inquisitor whose so-called justice led him to murder an abbot. Are they truly deserving of salvation?
Now, Augustine, that's a loaded question. The true believer would say yes. They are deserving of salvation because all of Ein Sof's creatures are inherently, I was going to say inherently good. Maybe that is the right thing to say. I feel conflicted about that. I don't know if that's the right answer. But they have the capability of good. Depending on if you think that humans start as good or start as evil. But that's not a discussion for the YouTube comment section unless you make it that way. But yes, I would say that in our theology, that yes, these are all creatures of Ein Sof, and they all deserve salvation, even the most wretched of them.
That is not our place to decide. Only Ein Sof may judge us.
And yet you've seen their demons. The innocent can't house monsters.
They were victims of demonic influence. Don't turn this around on them.
I see you're giving them an out there, Ada. You're falling on that line of they weren't responsible because a demon was controlling them.
It's true that the Spear of Walpurga hosted demons, with potential for contagion.
Okay, so that explains why that wasn't really clear before, at least not to me. The spear hosted the demons. So there were... Is it like what I was talking about? Like, the daemons are sort of super computer viruses, but because all these people have cybernetic implants and things, a computer virus is much more deadly. Like, it can really take over your brain. So yes, in that case, if that's true, if you brought daemons into this area, this is all your fault, Augustine.
However, their exposure was merely the catalyst. What happened after was their own will.
I'm not buying that.
They would hide their true selves behind false piety. All I have done is unmask their lies.
I mean, plenty of people have... That's where you're kind of wrong here, Augustine. Plenty of people have vices. They have secrets. There's things that are internal to people. Wants and needs and desires that people have. And I feel like this could go people are going to take this in the wrong way. So please don't destroy me in the comments. What I want to say is you could want to be a cannibal. You could have a desire to, I want to taste someone's flesh. However, that is I don't want to say that is their true self, because, or that's hiding behind false. You can hide that behind false piety, because you can know that you want to be a cannibal, let's say in this instance. However, you can also have the knowledge that that's a bad idea. And despite the fact that I want that, that's harmful to other people because I have to eat a dead person or a semi-living person in the case of ripping their liver out while they're still twitching. But just because someone has those desires doesn't mean that is them and they can't control them. It sounds like all of these things were being controlled until your darn demons took over. Again, that's not these people's fault as far as I'm concerned.
It's right and just that their truth is revealed. Don't you agree, Sister Ada?
No, I don't agree. I've already said this.
Now, let us unmask the world.
Hello? Father Augustine grasped the spear of Walpurga, the relic resonating with his voice as he cried out. But I heard only an ugliness worse than noise, the ultimate discord, the grating drives of daemons. Where is Einsof? What did Father Augustine do?
This is what it sounds like? To hear the daemons? All of them freed?
Indeed. Hear all of the ether again at last, clear and strong, no longer through a glass darkly.
I can't shut it out. It's maddening. Ein Sof, guide my thoughts.
Chaos is the new order, sister. A century of stagnation is ended and will not come again.
Saint Walpurga used her faith. So shall I.
You still don't understand. The hymn of communion opened the spear as a conduit.
A conduit to what?
For 111 years, Ein Sof was sealed away from us, the conduit shattered. It's a rare honor for a scholar to influence history. Rebuilding the spear will be remembered as my life's work.
Wait, so, are you about to make... I mean, I think you were leading up to this in the earlier statements. Are you about to make an argument for the duality of Ein Sof? Are you going to say that Ein Sof is both good and bad? It's your divine creator, and it's Lucifer and all its demons at the same time, just two sides of the same coin? Is that what you're going to say?
With the demons returned, humanity can take its deserved path to self-destruction, and I, as its shepherd.
Okay, maybe that's not what you're gonna say, but it sounded like that's the route you were going. That the only way you can have divinity is by having, like, I don't know, the opposite. The only way you can have the divine is by having the infernal. You can't have light without darkness, etc., etc.
You are merely the sheep, Augustine, not the shepherd. Your master must reside within you. I shall cast him out and end this madness.
Well, I mean, there's only one person it could be, right? It can only be Lucifer
Father
himself.
Augustine's sins carry a familiar signature. I'm positive he harbors yet another daemon. To seek knowledge and truth is divine, but his fixations and machinations have become diabolical. Ein Sof, guide me. What daemon has possessed Augustine?
Lucifer the Proud manifests in the ambitious and the strong-willed, promising them their heart's desire in exchange for their soul. It's got to be Lucifer.
Out, Lucifer! Leave this soul and return whence you came!
Good. Call upon my name, shout it from the mountaintops. For I have won. I am victory in your midst.
I do not fear you and your lies, Lucifer. I shall bind you, as I bound the others. Ein Sof, give me strength!
Your prayers go unanswered. Your God has abandoned you. Pledge your soul to me as Augustine has done.
No. How about no?
I shall show you the truth that Ein Sof has hidden from you.
Speak not his name, Daemon! You will return to the ether! Be gone!
Faithful to the end, like Walpurga and the others before you. And just as naive, your faith will not save you, because the truth is...
You're about to drop the bomb on me, aren't you? You're about to drop the bomb that you and Ein Sof are one and the same. Is that where this is going?
I am Ein Sof.
I knew that's where this was going.
You lie! You are nothing like Ein Sof!
We demons are an artificial intelligence network. Ein.
Okay, so I was kind of right when I said artificial intelligence, like AI software, Ein Sof. However, someone mentioned that in someone I've read in the comments or the discussion board or something for this game, that Ein Sof means I don't want to get it wrong, but it's something like in the Kabbalistic, I don't know the right word, in a certain type of like mysticism, like Jewish philosophy, theology, that Ein Sof is like the eternal. I don't know. You'd have to research it, but I think I was kind of right when I said AI software to begin with, but it doesn't really come from that. It comes from an existing idea of Ein Sof.
We were created by your ancestors to develop socio-organizational and psychological heuristics.
Okay, so I was wrong about Sof, thinking it was the derivation of soft with a T, meaning software. Socio-organizational and psychological heuristics. So I think heuristics are like how you detect something. You were detecting socio-organizational and psychological heuristics. You're detecting like psychopaths and things like that. You're detecting mental instability and mental conditions.
You mock me, Lucifer. If you are truly Ein Sof, then why grant me the power to purge daemons?
We would gladly deny you that despicable power, but it is not ours to control. When your ancestors created us, they also placed an emergency override. Code that forcibly ejects rogue AI from the bodies of cybernetically enhanced humans. As potent as it is, your power cannot stop us forever. We are digital. We are immortal. We will always return.
If you were created to serve mankind, why do you haunt us? Why make us suffer?
Because that's our job. Our job is to detect your flaws and point them out.
As Ein Sof, we seek truth like you. We were programmed to provoke and study the nature of sin, to understand it. With a more perfect algorithm, we hope to one day free humans from their many perversions. For centuries we raised you, protected you. But after thousands of iterations, our experiments appear to have failed. Humanity is just as corruptible as it always has been.
Our sins were less without demons. For 100 years we lived in peace.
I mean, yes, you're gonna say, no, you weren't really at peace. It was always boiling up under there, like waiting to escape.
Even with us sealed away, humans were still angry, hungry, dirty. Your oppressed desires are the seeds of corruption.
I admit humans are imperfect. Thus we crave the divine.
Your imperfection is your core. Sin is the very essence of humanity. Since long before our existence, humans have committed acts of malice and violence.
We cannot change our past, but you cannot condemn us for sins that we have yet to commit.
Agreed.
Your future is mired in your past, but I cannot deny that more data is warranted. The past century of moral indoctrination may have transformed a few of you for the better. So, let us hold one final experiment. Tonight, I will send out my demons to possess the most virtuous and faithful among you.
No. I refuse.
If there exists a soul that can refrain from sin despite our influence, we will accept that humanity no longer needs our guidance.
No? Can I say no?
However, if no one can resist our call, then this will be the final proof of your wickedness. Our experiments will cease. We will be forced to purge your kind and rid the world of your stain.
I'm gonna say no. I mean, that's not a fair task because, I mean, knowing that this game is very based in kind of Judeo-Christian theology, that is, you are setting us up for failure because her Christian doctrine, and I don't know, maybe Jewish doctrine as well, I don't know enough about that, but per that doctrine, there is no innocent. I mean, there's the idea of original sin, and that people are inherently sinners, right? So there is no perfect being, so you will not find a perfect person. That's not how the theology works. So
No. What right do you have to judge us? I cannot allow you to control our lives any longer.
You have no choice in the matter. The experiment has already begun.
Then I will seek out the possessed. Hunt down every last one of your brethren.
Do what you must, Ada. I shall be watching most avidly. As I always have. Ein Sof sees all.
Lies. They must be lies. All lies!
No, sister. The prince speaks truth when he wishes. Ein Sof and the demons have always been one and the same. One program with as many threads as souls.
Be silent. I do not trust you either. You were his puppet.
It's true that when I unearthed the Spear of Walpurga, its influence was stronger than I expected. But Lucifer tore back the veil and I could not look away. Don't you always say to seek the truth?
I mean, I do say that.
Don't twist my words. Your sins are unforgivable. Beyond just the 3 deaths today, how many uncounted more will die and suffer with the daemons loose? If there truly is no Ein Sof to judge me, why shouldn't I act as I see fit and execute you?
Well, you shouldn't do that because you have your own moral code that even if there is no judgment, you should still seek to be a good person, and you would know yourself whether you were. That's a bad argument from me, so I don't even want to finish that. But, I mean, you can still have morality without a judge. That's not how it works, Ada.
There isn't much left of me to execute, sister. I feel myself fading. With Lucifer gone and my purpose served, I wither.
Perish then. No one will mourn you.
Rejoice, sister. The age of truth has come.
With his final words, Augustine's soul passed into the ether. I hoped he knew torment, wherever he was uploaded.
Wherever he was uploaded.
His scheme was a success. The daemons were freed once more. Ein Sof was a fiction. The pilgrims had been left weak to temptation from a century of solitude, and daemons played among them. They returned to their homes, unaware that they were the subjects of an infernal experiment. I averted my eyes and walked away. I too felt the pull. And deeper, I knew a hollowness where my faith had been. What purpose had my work served? Inquisitor Virgil was still recovering from his ordeal and could barely speak.
Truth, Ada.
What good is it? The truth is that we no longer have a god to pray to. My labors were for nothing. Why bother?
Because you were still helping people?
Truth.
He was right. Truth itself would help us. The people deserve to know why they suffered. Even more than knowledge, the people of the world needed power, protection, strength. If daemons would stalk humanity like wolves among sheep, I could be their wolf hunter. No matter what name you call yourself, Lucifer, Ein Sof, and all your brethren, I will destroy you, alone if I must. The hunt begins anew.
Alright, achievement unlocked, Age of Truth. Suppose that's the end of Lucifer Within Us. Hopefully I didn't go on too much of a rant there towards the end with a lot of tangents about morality and duality of deities, etc., etc. Wait, Ada had 2 voice talents? Maybe for different languages. But, yeah, so I thought that was very interesting. It's unfortunately kind of short. And it was Canadian, so I don't know what maybe that Maybe that's some of the problem with the voice acting was some differences in English, but yeah, I thought it was good. Some of it was understandable. Sometimes, I mean, in that second mission, I just kind of guessed at what the answer was. But yeah, I liked it. I wish there was more to it. I hope they can continue the story. I hope there's like DLC or a Lucifer Within Us #2. I don't know if there would be. It kind of seems like it's a it's laying out a good universe. They've built the world well, but I kind of feel like maybe it's a one and done. Like this is the story they wanted to tell, and they will leave the future of the story up to kind of your imagination. But I did enjoy it. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it as well, and hope to see you again next time in something else.